Hello everyone, if we haven't met yet, my name is Paige Warner and I am a singer-songwriter and recording artist. I grew up in KW and lived there until very recently when I moved to Owen Sound. So KW is definitely my home and my heart. But before I share a little bit, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Sara and Marshall. Thank you so much for having me on the Bonn Park podcast again. I'm always excited when I see your name pop into my inbox, and I just wanted to give a huge shout out to you both because I don't think a lot of what us artists do would be possible without people like you. So thank you so much for everything you do. I went out to the St. Jacobs Market and busk. So it really became an annual tradition. Every year between school, during the summer, I would dust off my busking binder and head out.
Welcome to Bonn Park. I'm Sarah Geidlinger.
And I'm Marshall Ward.
Welcome to part 3 of our special 3-episode series on the St. Jacobs Farmers Market.
A gathering place and community tradition for 50 years and the largest year-round farmers market in Canada.
In episodes 1 and 2, we met the past and present owners of the market, many vendors, and really immersed ourselves in the community of the St. Jacobs Farmers Market.
And a running thread throughout all these conversations and stories that were told were themes of family values, integrity, and quality.
In this 3rd episode, we're going to meet the market staff, and we're going to learn about the hard work and dedication it takes to run a market day and what's required on non-market days.
We also found that just as there was so much camaraderie and cooperation between the vendors, the same can be said about the staff, that amazing group of staff that run the market.
Then we'll meet Willie Huber Jr., CEO of Ignite Group of Brands, and Jamie Schlegel, CEO of Schlegel Urban Developments, to talk about the future for the St. Jacobs Market District.
Welcome to Bonn Park.
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 Do you enjoy Bonn Park podcast?
If so, we would really appreciate it if you
Leave a review,
like, rate, subscribe, but most importantly,
share directly from the platforms
with your family and friends. That's the best way to get the word out to everybody, and more people will get to see our show that way. So click those like buttons and share our show. Thank you.
Thanks.
On with the show. This is it. Marshall, first let's meet Bonnie Allen, Facility Supervisor at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market District.
We'll also meet other market staff, Shane, Tony, Amanda, Murray, and Joanna. And one of my favorite things about Bonnie is when you see her working at the market, it's so clear why she's in that position and why she opens everything up. And I love how she rides her motorcycle to work.
I'm Bonnie Allen, and I'm the Facilities Supervisor at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. So a typical market day for me, I open the market. I love opening the market. Like I'm here on a Saturday, I'm here at 4 a.m. In the summertime when the outdoor vendors are here, there's a few produce vendors already setting up, but that's all that's here. It's so quiet. You kind of get into the, wow, it's nice and peaceful and everything's quiet, and it's not going to stay that way.
My name's Shane Shedler. I'm in maintenance full-time on non-market days. 2 of us run maintenance here. It's a pretty big job with considering Market Road Antiques and the outlet mall. We have over 40 acres of stuff to take care of. I'm also a supervisor on market days. I'm a closing supervisor. It's an everything job. I am considered a market greeter as well. That's one of my jobs here.
Hi, my name is Tony Levante. I'm a maintenance person at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. Been here for about 15 years.
I am Amanda Runstedler. I am the Assistant Market Manager for the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. Typically, we start at around 5:30 in the morning. I'm here on market days.
I'm Mari Borsi. I've been with the market since 2002. I started off as the market clerk, and I worked my way up to being the market manager. I retired about 5 years ago, but I still loved the market, loved the sense of community. So I actually did stay on as a casual employee to cover holidays. If someone was ill, I came in to help out.
My name's Joanna Loback. I'm the general manager for the St. Jacobs Market District. It was actually part of my interview that I was toured around the market, and a big chunk of that was just to introduce me to the staff. And I remember meeting Shane. He was inside Peddler's Village, and he was counting people coming in because we were having to keep track of who was coming into the building for COVID. And after my interview, and he was just so gregarious and so happy. And he was just like, this is like, he had pulled out choke cherries, I think, which I had never seen before. And he said, I got these from a vendor today. And she actually brought in a pie because I was on Saturday talking to her about how I didn't know what to do with choke cherries. And he's like, what other job do you actually get to, work with this many small businesses and have people actually bring, their goods in to you and give you a pie?
I go through the whole motion of opening the buildings, and I walk through all the buildings, make sure everything's good, set the pylons up, get the parking lot ready for people to come, just making sure everything is ready. As the staff arrive, I make sure I'm here if they're doing something different. I just make sure everybody's got what they need for going to counting, make sure they've got their phones to count and the sanitizer and masks to take to their stations, and make sure everybody's set up and they know what their routine is. Usually the day before, I make a list of duties so everybody knows what they're doing that day and when their breaks are, when their lunches are. And I have amazing staff. Like, they're so good. I got some of those core guys that really help me look after things, and I can count on them I give Alex, you look after the counters, right? And he's got them, right? So that's really good. And then the rest of the day, I try to see everybody, all the vendors, just walk by, say hi. But it's good. Usually when my radio's quiet for about 20 minutes, I kind of wonder what's going on. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm out there greeting people, helping people, knowing the vendors, but it's just about greeting people in a positive way. I think we need more of that all the time. It's very satisfying. I go home and I'm happy, It's a busy day work-wise on a non-market day, and then on a market day, it's a very busy day, but there's a whole different element of work to do that day.
Okay, chasing cattle, that happened one time during a market day. We ran all the way down to Laura Creek. We went to and chased them till couldn't take it anymore. Oh, the farmers, they'll back up crooked. So as soon as they see an exit, they just dart out. Goats, sheeps. Well, typical market day, it starts really quiet in the morning, and then all of a sudden starts booming, real busy and stuff. And like this now, answer the phone. And it's busy all through the day. Just hustle and bustle. Well, I have always tried to smile as much as I can here, Try to make the best that you can. Just make the whole day go by. And laugh and joke and, helps the day go by quick. Well, a non-market day, there's tons to be done here. There's always things to be done. I don't care what day it is, winter, summer, there's always things to be done here. And then the market day, you got all the rest of the stuff. We can't do hardly any much maintenance here during the market day. Well, you got other things to do to take care of, right? Yeah. Well, my family's been doing markets since the Italy days. My mom and my dad. And my older brother Frank, he was born at the market. My mother water broke, and she told my father, "Leave the rapini alone. Let's go to the hospital. Get the Vespa. Let's go."
Tony and I work together on absolutely everything. There's no differentiate. Like he has his strong points on certain things. I'm more of carpenter based, so anything building, wood, anything that has to be rebuilt, refinished, redone, tore out, those kind of things. It's kind of like my baby. Tony's been here for almost 17 years, so he knows where every nut and screw is here. So he does a lot of those detailed things with the coolers and fans and air conditioning and plumbing. These are all things that we all deal with, but he has his niche right there. So we all kind of lean on each other that way.
So a typical market day in my world is very busy. We start at around 5:30 in the morning. I'm here on market days. I will be placing daily vendors, which are our occasional vendors that just show up one time, maybe 2 times a year. I place them in the morning at 6 a.m. By about 7 o'clock, when we're ready to open on a Saturday, I'm finished all of the placement for all those outdoor vendors that are coming. Then that's when we get to interact with our vendors and interact with our customers throughout the whole entire market day. So there may be situations that arise where myself and another manager will have to respond to any first aid calls that happen. If there's any customer issues that we need to deal with for customer service purposes, then you're probably going to be talking to either me or the other market manager, Megan. You'll probably see me out there also greeting customers when they come by, just saying welcome, good morning. And also I like to interact with the vendors as they're going on through their day. So I'll ask them, how are your sales going for the day? How are you doing today? How does this compare to what you were doing this time last year? Just to get a sense of how they're operating. We like to kind of use them as a good gauge because traffic doesn't always mean that they're being successful for the day. So it's good to actually ask them, how their sales are going to get a good idea of, if it was a successful day for them or not so much. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, probably around 3 o'clock, we'll go around, myself and the other managers usually make a presence in the outdoor market to see if there's any issues that arise with people that are packing up, or if they, ran into some snags and they need some help with packing up their vehicles or their tents or whatever, then we can give them a hand. And then 3:30 is shutdown time. And that's something that Sheila really ingrained in me when I started. This is more of a market family rather than, yes, we're a business, but also we want to have that family aspect where they can feel like we are supporting them in growing their business to be as successful as possible. And I think really you're going to feel like you're part of that family, that community.
I remember as a child bringing my grandmother here, and she was from Scotland. And even over in Scotland, people knew about the farmers market. I've been to Florida and people have heard of the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. It's like world famous. And it's just always a big sense of pride when people would say things like that. So, and that's how I would describe it. It's like if you're looking for just a great experience where you're sort of embraced in our local community, our local environment, you're going to have a great day. I really do have a sense of belonging.
Marshall, after hearing from the market staff, man, is it clear how hard these people are working?
I think that's the one thing that visitors just do not understand is just how much work goes into getting ready for market day.
So next time you see market staff, give them a smile, a hello, or maybe a thank you.
Let's hear again from a few of the vendors we heard in the first 2 episodes, like Sam Labruto of Charles Quality Meats, George Voisin of Voice and Family Produce, and Stella Mendalis of A Taste of Greece.
The funniest thing that I can tell you about is wherever I travel, I've gone to Jamaica, I've even gone to China, Europe, I will always meet someone from KW or this whole area that I've sold meat to. No matter where I go in this world, I've met customers. If it wasn't on the resort, or if it wasn't in the airport, or somewhere, I always meet. You can ask my wife. She can't believe it. Says, you know someone from everywhere we go. I says, yeah.
In the summertime, we're usually working fairly late into the evening. My son, he actually gets up at about 2 o'clock in the morning to go and load the trucks. We leave our place approximately 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, I've got 2 children of mine, that the 4 that are still involved in the market gardening business. They do most of the work out in the farm. My son looks after most of the orders and the shop, and my daughter looks after the field and the crew in the field. I do everything else. And my wife is also involved in the business on a smaller scale now because she's been doing it for so many years that she's more of a grandma now.
For us, a typical market day, especially in the summertime, winter's a little different, but for us to prepare for the market day with the food, and the entire day before is prep. So you're running around doing all of your shopping, and our food is nice and fresh. So we get the chicken, the pork, and my dad helps me make the souvlaki. So he cuts everything from beginning to end, marinates it in our own family recipe, and then we sit and we pass it on the skewers. And then there's all the cutting and prepping of the vegetables, making the tzatziki, because that's homemade. Our olive dip aioli is homemade that we put on the side of our Greek fries. And with COVID now, we also started doing meal plans that you can take home. So we have frozen moussaka, frozen pasticcio, which my mother helps me make those right now. So yeah, it's a full day's worth of work for us to be able to get all this done, because we like everything being homemade and made from scratch, so that everybody can actually experience what it tastes to have Greek food in their home.
Marshall, as we start to look towards the future of the market, let's hear from Bonnie, Shane, Joanna, and Amanda one more time.
When I first started, I worked for Mercedes Corp for the Schatz family. Working for them almost felt like you're working for just that family thing again, right? Like the family of the market, you're working for a family. And Sheila had been doing it for over 30 years, so it ran like clockwork. So it was great to learn from her. And the change to Schlegel, it was nice because they're also a family, right? And it's the same kind of, I think they have some very similar ideals, and it's a bit of a different feel, but it's still the same in that they want the market to succeed too, and that it's going to grow. I think they've got some great plans for the future here, and that's exciting to be part of something new like that again. So, yeah.
The St. Jacobs Farmers Market for me is very fulfilling, because it's as an employee, it's a great job. I learn things new every day. You learn about food, you learn about culture, you learn about the neighbors, you learn about the Mennonites, you learn about farmers. You also learn about other things, that management and responsibilities and maintenance. And so for me, it's the experience of coming here and seeing the sheer size of it. Because of the size, I think it really overwhelms people when they first get here. But I think the experience is just a positive experience overall, friendly, almost rural-like, if I may say. Rural friendly. And I think a lot of people are really attracted to that, and they come all the time. We've been coming here for years. Oh, we just came here. We loved it here. We're coming back. Though I think it's just making an impression and having a good experience here while they're here. Making sure that they get what they want. We're friendly, everybody's positive. If there is a problem, we know how to deal with it. That's not a big problem. We'll take care of it. You can come here for a couple hours, and when you leave, it's usually, wow, I really like that place. I'm going back. It's just a great experience overall. That is the reason why I applied here, and that's the reason why I work here, because I had so many good experiences before I worked here.
We have a very hardworking staff on market day. So Megan and Amanda are at the front desk at 6:00 in the morning to greet all of the daily vendors and assign them kind of their spots for the day, into trying to figure out how they mix with the seasonal vendors and come up with a flow that will appease everybody, which is not an easy role. And then you've also got Andrew and Bonnie on the property side. So Bonnie's alarm probably goes off in the 3s, and she's the first person at the market who is the one opening up all the doors, turning off all the alarms, getting all of the rails and all of the signage out. And really, she's there before most of the vendors are pulling into the parking lot. So then I come into the office sometime between 8 and 9, and they've already been there for 3 hours kind of thing, having their third coffee. And then I get the recap of all of the kind of issues and the problems or what's going on. And then we figure out how to tackle those and move forward. One of my favorite things to do, though, is I like to, before I get the recap from them, I just like to walk around, because that has changed. Almost every market day is different. There's new vendors coming in. There's vendors certain areas that we've had to close off. And so there's always just something different in the market. And so you're trying to think about it from a customer's perspective as to how the flow works. And is it obvious that this section is closed? And do we have the right amount of signage out? And so that's one of my favorite things, is just to walk around the 3 buildings, walk around the outdoor market, and just kind of get the feel for how is today. And a lot of that is weather dependent too. And so it's different every day. Yeah, it's a really interesting time because I'm a market goer myself. So I know what the market should be. It's been interesting. It's been a great year to learn for sure. But I think the thing that excites me, and especially after sitting in on some of these interviews with Sheila and hearing about kind of the Shant's history and the legacy that they built, there's just this weight. I feel this tremendous amount of responsibility to get it right, because I think it's like so much of it is protecting the parts about the market that are so important to people because of the community legacy or just the traditions. But we heard we'll hear a little bit from Willie and Jamie about where we're going in the future, and I think that's so important if we're going to continue to be a relevant place for community, that we continue to evolve and that we bring in innovation and we keep pace with the things that our customers want. And it's that balance. It's about getting it right, protecting the things that matter, but then also leaning into change and adapting and not being afraid of that and trying things and realizing, well, that was a good idea, but it didn't really work. Maybe we need to tweak it or whatever. And I love that kind of challenge, and it excites me. But I know that the market is such an important place for so many people that I want to make sure I get it right. And I just, it's overwhelming, but it's also extremely exciting.
When the Schlegel family took over from the Shantz family, the transition really was seamless. Obviously there's things that go on that you need to deal with and roles change and whatever, but it really was seamless. We met all of the Schlegel family members, the partners. They are so family oriented that it was like you're going from knowing a cousin to knowing another cousin. Like, it really was keeping everything all in the family. Then hearing how they are so invested in their employees and making them feel comfortable, that also was reassuring to all of us here in the office, because when you switch ownerships, it can be sometimes a little bit of a scary thing because you're not sure how things are going to go moving forward. So they were really good at reassuring us that what we were doing was great. We just want to take what the market is now to the next level. And then what can we do to help you guys take it to the next level? So it's been really, really a great learning experience. And I have also felt myself grow, which is awesome. It's been a great experience. Yeah. How I would describe the spirit of the market is probably twofold. One, it is very much community-based. So you really get an appreciation for the vendors that are taking time out of their day to provide all of the customers with great product, whether it's food, artisan products, anything that we have here is really high quality. And two, the proximity to the city with also having a focus on the rural roots that we have really is very unique to us. There's not a lot of places close to Waterloo, Kitchener, Cambridge where you can drive 10, 15, 20 minutes and still really get appreciation for the countryside, the Mennonite culture, a lot of our traditional farming roots that we kind of tie into the market atmosphere. I think it's really unique in that we're so close to the city, yet kind of traditional in a sense. Seeing the juxtaposition is interesting, right? Yeah. You get the more modern with the fast food and all of the high-tech things that we have coming in, but also when you go outside, you get a lot more of the traditional, real farming aspect, which is so cool. It's so cool to have all those things in one area. It's great.
Sarah, let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsor, Wicked Smart Hot Sauce.
We are supported by Wicked Smart Hot Sauce. Want to take a trip to tropical Trinidad? Your taste buds will transport you there with one taste of Wicked Smart's fresh, handmade sauces. Trinidad native Ifoma Smart grew up watching his grandmother's aunts and uncles concoct sauces. Now he puts that generational tradition into every bottle of Wicked Smart hot sauce. The mildest of Wicked Smart sauces, relatively speaking, is Soca, a delicious blend of fresh organic peaches, limes, and habanero. It's the perfect hot sauce for people who want the fruity, sweet heat on pizza, but perpetually lose the pineapple versus no pineapple debate. I'm team pineapple, by the way. Want to feel the heat like a Trinidadian? Try the Scorching Calypso, made with a blend of Carolina Reaper and Scotch bonnet peppers. It's fiery and flavorful. Bring the islands to your table with Wicked Smart Hot Sauce. It's sunshine in a bottle. Make a Wicked Smart decision and visit wickedsmarthotsauce.com, follow them on social media, or find Wicked Smart Hot Sauce at Central Fresh Market, Brady's Meat and Deli, Coddle's Catch Seafood, Innocente Brewing Company, Dutchies, and other specialty food shops.
Sarah, let's take a look towards the future of the St. Jacobs Market District.
Sounds good, Marshall. Let's hear from Willie Huber Jr., CEO of Ignite Group of Brands, and Jamie Schlegel, CEO of Schlegel Urban Developments. They talk about how a plan is underway to reimagine and revitalize the St. Jacob Market District by introducing a coffee house, a brew pub, and a restaurant.
An event space kind of banquet hall called the Stockyards Beverage Company.
I can't wait for this.
This is super exciting. The whole idea is to renovate approximately 70,000 square feet of the existing outlet mall building at the southeast corner of Benjamin Road and Farmers Market Road.
I'm Jamie Schlegel, part of the Schlegel family, and looking forward to the discussion today, talking about Farmers Market District, one of my favorite topics, and I think the exciting future of the Market District.
My name's Willie Huber. I'm president of Ignite Group of Brands, and I'm as well extremely excited about what the future is going to bring for us in the Market District. It's going to be something very, very special.
This really is the story of two local families with shared values. And I know people talk about shared values, and Dad has always said in life, choose your partners very carefully. The fit just feels right.
It all comes down to the teachers that we had.
Yeah.
Our parents, they taught us all very well.
Mm-hmm.
And, from that first meeting that we sat together, and, you could actually feel the energy in the room, and you could feel that passion of community and doing better for the community, and building the community. You don't find those partnerships every day. Mm-hmm. And when you know that there's a great partnership there, fantastic people like with the Schlegel family that care about the community and care about their people that they work with. And our family's always had the same philosophy, and that breeds success.
I think it's also a great example of partners bringing different skills and experiences and knowledge to the table. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're relying quite heavily on Willie and the Huber family to bring expertise in the restaurant and hospitality field that we don't have as a family.
When our family came to Kitchener-Waterloo in 1957, 56 actually, I remember going to the market when it was still on Victoria Street. The original market before it actually moved out to where it is now. When my dad started our business, he had a stand there.
Is that right?
At the market. I remember that. I was just a little guy. I couldn't see over the counter. I could hardly see into the counter, never mind over it. I used to walk around with the animals and with the livestock and all that stuff. And I guess that's where I got the feel for it. I just love being around animals and being around the market and that vibe and good food and good people.
Yes, good people. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? There's this connection on the market with amazing people, that the vendors that are there and the people that come there care about what they're consuming, want to support the community. What better place than go to a market?
I think you touch on an important point. It's really kind of community coming together and really an organic way, and it's the urban and rural coming together. Mm-hmm. As we think about the future of the Market District and the very intentional naming of Stockyard Beverage Co., how do we continue to bring urban and rural together, and how do we actually continue to profile the Stockyards
part of the market experience. I think people, urbanites are looking for the opportunity to connect with where their food comes from. How many kids growing up in the city have ever been to a cattle auction? Probably not that many, right? And so to give that opportunity to folks from the city, I think is a real privilege and also a big opportunity to kind of break down those barriers that have started to kind of exist in our community. The market kind of in and of itself is educational, just by going there and interacting and with the vendors. But I think there's also an opportunity to be more intentional. Willie's already got the picture in his mind of what this is all going to look like, so he just has to describe it to you.
There was a lot of work that was done there. Come on.
He's had the vision right from day one. It's just the design has been the rest of us catching up to Willie's vision. So in terms of the physical building, the neat part of this is that we're actually going to be repurposing the existing building. So it's not tearing down and rebuilding. It's actually using the bones of the existing building, but totally transforming the interior and to some extent the exterior as well into a new use. So we're recycling the existing building because there's lots to like about that building in terms of how it was built and structurally how sound it is. So we just didn't want to kind of cast it away and start afresh, but in fact use the structure for a new purpose. So that's kind of what's happening in the physical building, but it's going to look a lot different on the inside and even significantly different on the outside. So take it away, Willie.
Yeah, like the whole vision, and like you said, like the building has great bones, and it's been there a long time, and it's got the right structure, it's got the right roof structure, it's got the right character. Yeah. And what we're trying to do with the Stockyards Beverage Co. is to on the far end and the large part, that's where the brewery is going to be going. Yeah. 8,000 hectoliter brewery going in, brand new, with renovations and stuff like that. And there'll be a large drive-in cooler to store beer, obviously, in kegs and cans and what have you. And the entrances are going to be the same. The entrances are going to remain the same. So as you come in, you're going to walk right into, you'll see the brewery. It's fairly open, and then you can turn right and you'll walk in, and that's where the brew pub is going to be. Really innovative look. Something different that you don't see every day. Yeah. And taking it up to this next level. As a little boy, coming to Kitchener-Waterloo with my parents, like I had said earlier, the fond memories of going to the market. It's in my DNA, it's in my bones, and it's part of this whole journey that we're on right now, which excites me so much. Giving back to the community that same feel that I had as a young man, that's really exciting, because there's a lot of people out there that have never had that opportunity. I'm so happy that we can be part of something that actually gives that next generation that feel.
Yeah. It's amazing how many people in Waterloo region and probably well beyond would say much the same thing as you, that it was part of their childhood growing up, that it was such a unique experience, that they have such fond memories, that they've continued to go to the market as an adult. The market is so much part of the Waterloo region DNA. You know, I really see our family with respect to the market and market district, and our two families with respect to the vision for the brew pub, etc. Many ways as caretakers of a community asset that everyone in the region feels a part of and almost feels a part owner of. Mm-hmm. And you saw that when the market building burned, how the community rallied around it as if it was theirs, and in many ways it really is. Yeah, it's kind of the power of human connection, right? And people talk about the third place, right? That we're missing the third place. We certainly during the pandemic we're missing it, but just generally in society, that we have our homes and our families, we go to work, but we don't have that third place that other generations had to gather. And I really, in many ways, the market, as you described it, the market really provides that third place, that gathering place beyond our homes and our works, where we gather as community and meet our friends, and like you say, sit down for that cup of coffee or have lunch and fellowship together. And I think that's such an important part of a healthy community, and that's, I think, the real magic of the market is it's meeting that need in creating healthy community.
I can't wait to see what it's going to look like 10 years from now.
Marshall, these families are so deeply rooted in the community, and it's very exciting to see them coming together to develop this new project.
It's about community building and bringing people together in the Market District to not only shop, but enjoy each other's company.
As we start to wrap up our 3-episode series on the St. Jacobs Farmers Market, let's hear again from Ron Schlegel, founder of Schlegel Urban Developments.
One of the first things we're doing is setting out what the values are, so we're, what are the values, how do you identify them? In addition to things like caring relationships and so on, honesty, integrity, is persistence. I'm convinced that persistence is the number one predictor of success of anything. The dreams are, some are little, some are big. One of the dreams is to evolve the design of the market in a way that it also has a main street and a town square. It's the central gathering place for the market, where kids are playing and people are sitting at the picnic tables chatting. People are walking, strolling around. It's so rewarding to me to see how that is working to create community. It would be inherently safe for kids and seniors, all ages. And so that's what's happening. All ages are there. The market is an opportunity to build community on an even broader scale, national scale, if you will, in that it's a national asset in many ways. Also reflecting some of the new urbanism principles, and we'd like to develop it further. And so I'd like to see that evolve. And like I say, that'll take a bit of time and effort and strategy. So there's lots of ideas, that we can work on, and to also optimize the experience of people in relation to the rural-urban interface. That's so rich. Waterloo County, we have this tremendous rural society, and including the unique society of the Amish and Old Order Mennonites. They have a lot to offer the world to see, but also then to see how we implement things. And I think that's always been the Schlegel strength, is we dream, but we also get on with implementing, putting into action. We don't just leave it with a dream.
My whole life, I have loved the St. Jacobs Farmers Market experience, and working on this podcast series has elevated that experience even higher, remarkably. I feel like I have an even better understanding of where my food comes from here in town. I've met new friends. I know so many more farmers now and vendors, and have such an appreciation for the staff and what goes into getting ready for market day. And it just, in every way, I just find the experience just grows bigger and bigger, and I grow fonder. And also just getting to know the staff has been really fun too. I now see them and recognize them and say hello.
Marshall, what I love is that this whole thing started with a dream, but they continue to dream and change and evolve.
Get your berries here, 4 for $10. Super sweet berries, folks. Come on by, take a look here. 4 berries, $10. What a deal.
Hey all, thanks for meeting us in Bonn Park. Please like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast on the platform that you're listening to. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bonn Park Podcast. Original music by Alan Lung.